In the mid-1800s, the Petaluma River, or the Petaluma Creek as it was called, meandered between San Francisco Bay and the fledgling town of Petaluma, faithfully carrying traffic and goods in both directions. In the early 1870s, things began to accelerate with the arrival of the railroad at the Petaluma end of the river. The quantity and the variety of goods started to expand beyond agriculture, and the speed at which these goods moved increased. Automobiles arrived just after the turn of the century, signaling the decline of the river as a route for transporting goods and literally paving the way for modern highways that would help fuel the growth of the entire North Bay region. And in the 1980s, over 100 years later, a new river appeared, the virtual superhighway called the Internet. Along with it came a growing number of entrepreneurs determined to expand the boundaries of this new river, to deepen and widen it far beyond what had been possible up until then. And seeing the quality of life to be had here, these new pioneers put down roots along the banks of the Petaluma River, essentially anchoring one end of the river of the Internet right here in Petaluma. And in 1987, 12 pioneers gave birth to what is known today as Telecom Valley.
There are 12 of us that didn't have the foggiest idea how this was going to work out. And actually, we were very excited about it, and we thought that we just had the killer application. And it turned out to be a lot more difficult than we had ever realized. In fact, I've often told Don Green that I don't think I ever would have done this if I knew it was going to be this hard. Don decided at a point that there were other products that should be developed, and he started a company up in Petaluma called Optolink Corporation. Well, Don Green certainly was the father of Telecom Valley, and he was the main cog in the wheel at the time of digital telephone systems, and continued through a series of other companies. Some of the companies that were generated after that time were generated by Don Green and other people associated with this development. There were also a lot of individuals within the company that went out on their own and started companies recognizing that this was all possible. Don moved on with John Webley and started a company called AFC. AFC was in similar business, but also at the same time, George Hawley and I spun off and started a company called Diamond Lane. George felt that this DSL technology, digital subscriber line technology, would be good enough for the transmission of high-speed data and graphics in the Internet. So the product was developed to be used as sort of a hitchhiker, which was the code name for the first product we had, a hitchhiker that would hitchhike on the regular telephone line into your home, except would provide high-speed data access to the Internet. Today, all the digital subscriber line systems utilize that same technology, which George brought to Diamond Lane Communications, and which we developed into a product. Some of the things that we did back a few years ago that I'm very proud of would be we did the Tech Academy, which was it was an activity tied together with the Santa Rosa Junior College. Santa Rosa Junior College had the ability to administer and to provide teachers for a Tech Academy. The concept was one that would place the Tech Academy right within the confines of a business park. It was an off-campus type of thing. It was also an enrichment for the high school students. So students of all varying levels, whether they were high school or college or employed in the businesses, could take advantage of this technology. Well, Bill White was the true entrepreneur because Bill White offered George Hawley and myself some office space, and he made a deal with us. He said, "I know you don't have a lot of seed money, and you want to make it go as far as you can until you get your first round of funding." He says, "I'll let you have some office space without any rent if you agree to lease office space from me once you get your funding." Well, that was a handshake agreement, and I think several of those took place, and every one of them, I think, turned out successfully. And Bill was a man of his word, as were most of the entrepreneurs he dealt with. I'll say, to my knowledge, all of the entrepreneurs he dealt with. So Bill helped everybody get started, and he had what you might call the incubator in a number of his buildings. Bill made us sign a legal document that said that we couldn't build any fires or barbecues inside the building, and we were responsible for the insurance and things of that nature. But the reality was it was a pretty wide open agreement, handshake agreement, that, okay, I'll let you have this space, and if you get your funding, will you rent from me? And we said yes. We have to recognize that the companies were made up of people, and only the people were important. It never mattered whether the computer worked, whether it was the right size computer, whether we had the right servers or what. It didn't matter. You could buy those, and if you lost them, if they broke, you could buy new ones. You could not buy and sell people. And remember, when I say people, I mean most of them were family-oriented young guys that had families, and they came here. And so you had to concern yourself with that family, with the wife, with the kids, and with the opportunity to keep these people gainfully employed with the hope that their stock options would pay off and give them an opportunity to make some money and to improve themselves and their family.